All right, everybody, it is time for Chef Infra Client Triage. It is Monday, March 30th. Let's do this. I don't think we have a huge amount today because we've been triaging every week, which is the beauty of this. But let me share off my screen and we can go through what we have. I've got the Chef PRs open first. So we can start at the top. I think we'll get through all the new stuff pretty quickly. This is a pretty straightforward one, but I think there's a little bit, I left some feedback on this already. This has been really awesome. He's been opening issues for all the problems before he does the PRs, which kind of gives us a reason why the stuff is actually happening, which has been nice. The feedback I left on this one was that there's some validation that has to happen here for this ICMP type property, how it interacts with other properties and its value, which is happening in this is set properly method. That probably needs to get done as the resource is created, kind of similar to the alternatives resource, which was the example I gave him of how to do that a little more natively instead of with a method at converge time.
Disable style redundant return.
Wait.
Why is that redundant? Oh, because it's.
You could just put false there.
Oh, also, oh.
Yeah. I'd be fine if that just said false.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's redundant. Wait, what? It's like a safeguard. Whatever. Yeah.
That shouldn't be there anymore if there's a true at the bottom, right? That seems like a bug in Rubicon, if that's actually alerting.
It's actually, it's a little awkward that, like, it's one if-else chain that's returning a Boolean, but it's being explicit about it.
What's you mean instead of just like doing the inverse of that and returning on the trues and letting the falses be a nil?
Well, it could be like a single statement, although it would be a very long Boolean statement.
Yes. Like a giant multi-line if statement.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you've got here is a giant multi-line if statement. That's
well, but I mean, you could put like one
right.
giant multi-line. Yeah. I think we'll see what he does when he moves this out of this method. And what was the example? I'm trying to remember what the method is right now because my brain is a little fried. Yeah, I sent him this one, which was your feedback the last time I ran into this same kind of thing of using defined resource requirements.
Yeah, it should go there.
Which gives you a much nicer failure message too. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely something I think there's a few places we should use this that we're not. We're like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know about that.
I was looking at that. We can probably tidy that up a little bit too.
This one?
Just the DSL for, never mind. That's not relevant.
All right. Okay, so we'll see how that comes back, but that's in flight, which is cool. He did some work previously to like multi-rules and groups and stuff, so that resource is going to get some nice expansion for Chef 16, which is cool. That'll help anybody trying to manage Windows a lot. I haven't really looked at this one. I know you looked at it a little bit, Lamont.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
didn't even know this was a thing. Like,
I didn't know it was a thing either.
this allow you to like swap in your own packages to replace the core package? Is that?
It allows you to swap a package. So you have two packages which provide something logical,
Yeah.
right? So like an FTP server or something like that. And it allows you to swap them to deinstall one and reinstall the other without deinstalling all the things that depend on
Okay.
one, right?
So if I had like a Ruby 2.4, 2.5, and a 2.6, and I didn't want to uninstall like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that's the best example.
That probably doesn't have any actual depths, but
It's
It looked similar to the alternatives, but was that Ubuntu? Was that like Debian stuff?
yeah, that's not it's package management though, right?
yeah, that's just for
It's where you have a package management dependency, right?
yeah.
So you have something logical like provides FTP server, right?
Yep.
And things depend on that logical thing, but there's multiple different packages which provide that. And to be able to swap one out from the middle of a dependency tree and plug a new one back in.
Well, I mean, Ruby's probably a good example of that then. If everybody was just depping on Ruby.
Yeah, so if you just have a dep on Ruby of something,
yeah,
installed.
That's
but I mean, mostly gems and stuff would be what you'd be installing on top of that, which would need to go into a specific directory and wire it to a specific version. So
that would give you the package side, and the alternatives is really like your path side manipulation is really what that comes down to, Pete. Because that's like, I don't want to have to call Ruby 2.6 in its directory. I want to just call Ruby, and I want to be able to swap those back and forth. Like a poor man's RBEM for something.
So
that's a super interesting feature.
I would be curious to know if this is also on DNF as well, so that there's parity between those two.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to bring up, which is like, this is hard enough as it is. Now you should go do DNF.
Yeah.
Congratulations. This is why I hate working on package.
I mean, like, Jason's usually pretty responsive to that kind of thing, so I bet he will if we ask him to.
Yeah, it's just like something this simple to state becomes horrible. But anyway.
Yep.
So that's the background on that.
Yeah. Okay. Another requirements assertion. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to having that in DNF too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to get our documentation thing working, because we've got a whole bunch of new properties and things going in, and all the automated documentation is not working right now. So it's gonna be fun to actually do these by hand in those YAML files for Hugo. It's gonna be terrible. All right. Do you want to talk about your magic name ordering thing?
Not particularly this early.
Does this break more stuff, or like what drove putting this back in? I guess.
So after this, it will look like it will have the same shape as the code before I ripped out the canonical DSL.
Okay.
And so what this does is it means that the default resource name provides wiring will come after the parsing of the resource. So the resource file gets parsed.
So by default, you mean like based on the file name and the path and all that?
Yeah, based on the cookbook name and the file name, right? So it moves to being afterwards, which is the way that it always has been for years, right?
Yeah.
And by changing that, mostly I'm worried that things like that chef version for provides back and things like that would not work, because you would be wiring up provides before you ever parsed chef version for provides.
Yeah.
So, which was that issue that you ran into, which turned out to not actually be that issue, but I'm pretty sure that issue is there.
Yeah, there's still something going on with the version for provides.
So maybe you're running into this bug.
I might be running into a friend of it, at least. Close relative,
So
maybe.
friend of this bug. A close relative, yes.
Yeah.
So we
A
probably
second
need to
cousin
do
or
this.
something. Okay.
So what it breaks, though, is it turns out that the canonical DSL allowed you to write an old style LWRP with a split resource and provider, where only the resource had a provides in it, and then the provider would magically know that that was the thing that it needed to be wired up to. So it breaks that, and I went through and audited the entire supermarket, and those are the things that it would break.
Yeah, and that's not one we could detect either, because you don't know if the person is
Right. So I had to grep through looking for providers without a provides line.
Do we have
Said the file name to change it to the resource, and then grep for provides.
It's terrible.
Right? Because it's linked, right? So it was a very, like, auditing that was a bit terrible. And so these were the only ones that I came up with, though.
All right.
And it looks like mostly it's our code written by a chef employee.
Yeah, that Kubernetes is not ours, but we own it now, so we can fix that one, even though that cookbook doesn't work.
Yeah.
At all, but we can still fix that.
Yeah.
Kate's is, I think that used to be ours too.
It has at chef.io.
I can get
on the top of it.
sous chefs to fix that Mongo.
So yeah, I mean, those should just be custom resources and shouldn't be split up. And then
that's the real one. I wish there was a way. The big blocker on the custom resource stuff is the set of returns. I wish there was some way to like magically convert those into properties, and I've kind of thought about what it would be, and it is terribly complex and full of edge cases where it won't work. But I might write it anyways and turn it off and be like, if you want to convert your terrible HWRPs, like start with this, run this rule. It's probably not going to work, but it'll get you like 99% of the way there.
This is not even an HWRP though. It's not in a library.
Oh, this is still the LWRPs, actual
LWRP.
Oh,
this
okay.
This
so that's even easier then. Yeah.
So you should almost be able to pick up what's in the provider and copy paste it into.
Yeah.
You need to wrap the methods though in action class and shit like that.
That's that would be hard, but that is possible. We could automate that at some point.
Yeah,
it's a pretty, like, I did that, for 30 resources. It's a pretty copy paste kind of thing for the most part.
Or also there might be, like, you could include a cook style rule that was off by default to auto fix LWRPs to custom resources.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You would just
you could rip it through a cookbook and it would probably screw some stuff up, but it would do most of the automated work for you.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, that's what this would have to be. It would be like, hey, do you want to make converting your stuff faster, but not fully automated? Like, this will be faster, but it will probably break something and you'll have to tweak something, especially if you were doing terrible things in your LWRPs. It's definitely going to break stuff. But if you're not, if you just wrote like super simple resource-driven LWRPs, then it'd be fine.
Anyway, we can't merge this until I fix a chef spec.
Okay. Yeah. So is that actually fixing chef spec, or is that just fixing the examples?
There's examples. Okay. Cool. There's an example that happens to have this same broken pattern.
So that's
So-
like literally you just put a provides in the provider
Yes.
on the example. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Exactly what I will do.
I don't think we saw an update on this chocolatey
I got
restart
pinged
option.
about it. I got pinged about it in Slack. It's not ready to go.
Okay, still not.
And he's got a question, and I am not awake enough this morning to answer the
Great.
question. So
Yeah.
after later.
All right. I left a note on this one, Pete. This is like Yard's weird format that everything shows me, but seems really strange. Where like, where's one of them on param? So like, that's the name in the Yard format from everything I saw, and like it reads really strange, but I guess it's correct. I don't know why they don't have a better syntax for that. Personally, like I would have made that like a colon afterwards, where it would be much more clear. Like you're talking about type, name, and then a description, but they don't distinguish between name and description anyway, other than a space. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's an automatic thing, I mean, it might get formatted in Yard to where that.
I think they might do something with
so
it.
Weird, but yeah, it kind of looked like it was like a copy paste fail. So, all right, if that's
it's a real thing,
an auto format thing, that's fine.
I need to look at this. I think there's some other issues in this one, but that was the review holdup. There was Yard is weird.
Five functional tests.
What was that?
There's piles of Yard here. What's Ruby 2.5 functional tests?
There is. This was mostly like me syncing stuff from 2.6 that was safe. There might not be anything. That might be a lie, to be honest.
I think that's a lie.
Yeah, I might have cherry picked that into another part.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, I did like 20 Chef 15 backport PRs that were trying to get all the things that were like typos and simple test fixes, so that when you diff the code bases, there's the things that are different or the things that have to be different.
Right.
This one produces a lot of red on the diff, so getting those stupid comment headers all synced means that you only see the like few lines where it will not change some stuff to go into like all the loading up which and all that stuff is a lot more apparent. I think that's really all we have to look at here. Nothing else has really been updated. Yeah.
Noise and test runs. You already did most of that, didn't you?
I did most of it. I need to go through that and see if there's anything else we can bring in, and then just close it because it's mostly been cherry picked over at this point. And I think I might sit down and actually just redo this PR, because that guy's not going to come back. I will just snag it and reproduce this without looking at it. Basically, like turn that into Ruby. So if somebody has a macOS 10.14 box, I would love to know what the output of that looks like, because I need to wire up some tests for it and actually make some methods that parse that output and get this to be real. But making Build Essential be able to actually install build tools on Mac is pretty important. So should probably make that work. And
I have a 1014 VM. I could probably run that on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sorry, my Mac is like 1014.6.
That's perfect. Yeah, I just need the output of this software update -L so I can figure out what it's trying to even fund. Yeah, this is like, these are the worst. We're like, what are we even trying to, like, I see what we're doing here, but I don't know what the input actually looks like. So how would I ever validate a change to it?
That was why I suggested they add some tests, because I was like, maintaining this across multiple versions of
Oh, it's
OS
terrible.
X is going to be terrible.
Yeah, it's always terrible. And that's why the OHI tests are like bigger than OHI, because a lot of the OHI tests are like this tiny little regex, but it works across like 7 different, slightly different inputs. And the inputs are like a page long. And
Yeah.
OHI is just like, when I give you this giant input, like you output 5. And when I give you this one, you output 6. So like your one line regex has like 4 pages of tests, which unfortunately ship with the product. But yeah, we can reproduce this one. I don't think it will be rocket science, and I've already forgotten what that regex looks like, so I think we're fine with the DCO and all that stuff. I'll just start with the last commit that had the DCO sign off and create a new PR for it. Maybe I'll do it today because I don't feel like doing anything else. Is there any other ones that anybody wants to talk about?
There's stuff on issues.
Issues. All right. Perfect. Great. Good old Red Hat.
Yep.
What did they change?
There's a dead URL, I guess, or something.
Oh, the package is gone. Great.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably figure out where that package is now.
Yeah, URL gone.
Yeah, that's valid. That's a bug. And we will want to backport that. And sustaining, we'll get that. I will stick that in their backlog.
There's all the there's all the Windows firewall rule.
Yeah, I'll just stick these all at the same time. That was not what I wanted to do.
And apparently we have a cert that's about to expire.
What? Yeah, I like briefly read that. Was that just a test cert? What are they?
Yeah, that's a self-signed tester.
Okay, which was the same problem we ran into, I think, on the Windows side before, right? Was like one of our certs expired.
Yeah.
Can we like issue a cert that is horribly in the future with this expiration date?
Well, see, that's what we did. That's a 10-year cert that's expiring.
Well, we'll do that again. Then by the time we have to worry about this stuff, it'll be a thing. Perfect.
Bump it up to 2040 next time.
That's great. Yeah, let's fix that. That's an easy one. I might just do that, but I'll tag it for sustaining anyways. And then, yeah, I think we tagged everything else. This should get tagged. Anything left that is not? There's tons of stuff.
Untriaged? Yeah, there's tons of untriaged.
Oh, there's 2 down. Boom.
Okay.
Some of these are like not really untriaged. Like if they already have stuff, they're not untriaged. But that's our abuse of labels for meaning untriaged. It'd be really great if GitHub just had that as a feature. Yeah, I would love this one, but that kind of changes the entire way Chef works.
Yeah.
Somebody who's asking for that has clearly used Ansible, because that is that's how resources work in Ansible. It would be cool, but I don't know how it works.
Oh, warn don't fail. That is not a thing, right?
This one, didn't we discuss? We discussed this one, and
So
I have mixed feelings about the usefulness of warnings in a place where no one ever sees them.
yeah, we've already got it though.
But like, if you're at the scale of having automate, then you're using automate as your, single pane of glass. You're not feeding chef logs into a place. You're looking at them in automate. So when the data doesn't show up in automate, where do you ever see the warning? Like, it doesn't work. But also, yeah, config it.
Like, yeah, I don't know. They're on 12. Maybe 12 doesn't have the feature.
Yeah, they should not get. They should not be on 12.
Yeah, like.
All right. Is there another repo that we want to look at other than Chef? Anyone?
No. There's still all the rest of the Triage.
Yeah, we can hit a few of them if you want.
But when did I do the data collector complete rewrite? Was that for 15 or 14?
That was 15.
Yeah.
So that those people probably need to upgrade to 15. No. Feature request.
So chef config determines the cache path 31 times when running basic knife command. That's cool.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We have
Enable turning off SSL validation for a single remote file resource. That should get done.
Do we have like a performance? Yeah, there we go. Like these are the small ones where I feel like there's definitely some place for improvement in knife and such. That's not that bad to probably do that on my Mac, but I bet on a non-SSD Windows laptop, that's probably pretty terrible. What was the other one that you?
Oh, there was one for turning off SSL checks. For yeah, I threw that one in sustaining backlog.
That would be a good one.
That would be a good one, yeah.
Yeah, probably not crazy hard. Why is there a chef spec bug in this? There it is. Yep. All right, one down. Anything else we want to look at here, or we want to call it good for now?
What about the chef client Z fails when home variable is not set? I really want to close this one and say, yeah, set your home variable.
Yeah, I think that's the. I think that is probably the solution here.
Like, there's a certain amount of, yeah, we have an external dependency. You need to set your home variable, because not doing that is kind of insane. Oh, there's only 17 on triage. That's not bad. There's this.
Declined. $14. $13. All right, I would say we're good for now. So I'm gonna stop sharing.